I say good evening to everyone, and thank you again for joining us this evening. Today's event is called "How to Quiet Our Minds in a Fast-Paced Environment," and I would like to introduce you to someone special to my heart. Her name is Selda Goodwin. Selda has spent, I think, over 20 years cultivating a space to be able to live from the place of balance, peace, and love. She comes from a fast-paced advertising world, but she believes that empowering women is really important, and she empowers women to listen to their inner wisdom. So tonight, Selda will be sharing tips on how to quiet our minds in this little bit crazy world. And this will be followed by a guided meditation. Selda, good evening.
Good evening, my love. It's nice
How
to
are
see
you today?
you. Yeah, thank you. It's nice to see you. I'm just trying to get everyone on so I can see everybody. Um, it's been a lovely day, so I've been trying to give myself a little bit of time and space to step away from work, which has been pretty intense for the past month and a half. So I'm very slowly managing that. But I'm feel very honoured to be a part of this, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe together um, give some tips and techniques for these lovely ladies to use as additional support in their lives. Yeah.
So you come from pretty crazy environment. I remember we spoke that you've been, in the advertising industry, and it was very fast paced. How did you make a change, and why you did that?
It was. I worked in advertising for over 8 years as a copywriter, art director at a time where I think I was one of three women in I'd say the department, but there were very few women in the actual entire agency, and the agency was about 500 people at the time. I was very young. I started very young in the advertising world, and I was convinced, nurture and education, that I wanted to be a part of that really fast paced world. It served me for a short time, but then very, very quickly I was getting signals from my body, specifically sort of that I didn't really know at the time how to listen to my body, things didn't feel right. So slowly, just step by step, I learned to really listen to my body physically, but also to my emotional states, and my mental thoughts and frequencies as they were showing up. I was starting to note down, and this was really at a time I was 21, 22, where actually there wasn't really a lot out there in terms of social media. Didn't exist in the way it does now. There wasn't really any type of community support around. So I'd been practicing yoga for a while, but I didn't really have any mentors, female role models, apart from my mum, who is wonderful but very traditional. And so I had to navigate my way inwards in order to step away from what I knew was effectively not the right path for me. But I learned a lot of tools along the way. I learned how to speak publicly in front of hundreds of people. I learned how to deal with difficult clients, and how to manage being in a very masculine world, and also how to work in teams, but also how to stand with my voice in singularity and really stay true to what I believed in. And as a creative, I was very, very passionate about my work always, and probably a very, very small percentage of my work ever got made because I was so strong-willed that I wouldn't let them take away the purity of my work. so So after about 8 years, I just I just made a decision very quickly overnight, and I just stepped away. I walked away from it. And I had a lot of resistance. It was met with a lot of resistance, especially from my family. I was earning at the time very good salary. I was winning awards, creative, highly sort of revered creative industry awards. But I kind of just felt like I'd done my bit, and the last piece that I worked on was a breast cancer awareness campaign, having lost my auntie to cancer when I was 24. And I felt that I had single-handedly, well, I wrote the commercial, this cinema TV commercial, and I single-handedly made it happen into production. And then once I began to win awards from it, my partner and I just said to him, I'm done. I know that this is the start of something bigger for me, and I want to go and work with women and help support women find their truths and find the strength and the courage to go back to listening to their wisdom, because that's where all the power lies. So that was the journey, the beginning of the journey.
Thank you for sharing your story, Zelda. It's you're very brave, so I congratulate you. Um, what what techniques would you say are the best just to quiet our minds? Because I think, with pandemics and COVID, quite a lot of people, they turned into their internal world and they went out to nature. So there's a lot of positives, I think, out of the whole situation that we're in the world. But still, I think, we end up spending maybe more time on social media because we are craving that human connection. And I think even though it's hard, to go to quite a lot of events or, especially travel. So we spend a lot of time on Instagram and Facebook. And especially, I think quite a lot of our listeners, they saw the movie on Netflix, Social Dilemma. I'm not sure if you saw that. And it's really disturbing. So how do you stay away and use social media for a positive impact?
Okay, so it feels like it's a very big question. I will try to answer in as many as many variables as possible so that it reaches everybody. It's hard. It's hard in the world that we live in to fundamentally quiet the mind fully. And so with the access point to all this information that's either driving our work or driving our social networking, or we need to accept and embrace that these are the times that we are living in, and they can be used as very positive tools. So in the past 2 weeks, I've stepped away from Facebook and Instagram personally, just to experiment, to see how it feels to not have my phone in my hands, in my pocket the entire day. So it was a kind of like a test for me to see how addicted I was to it all. And I'm not really someone who surfs a lot in through the social media, but I do post daily to stay connected to my community and to really just keep abreast of what is happening. But stepping away from it was a massive fresh of breath air for me, because I've posted twice. I posted today and I posted the other day. The only 2 times I posted in 2.5 weeks, I think, and it basically allowed me to recognize that I was in control. So I didn't have somebody else or a bigger sort of force saying, you have to post every day, you have to scroll through every minute of every hour. I was responsible and I was accountable for the moments that I chose to interact with the platform. And I found that in itself was allowing me to feel really empowered, and with a lot of power being stripped away from us at this time, it's very important that individuals take that power back. in their own way. So when we cut off completely, when we go into sort of like a withdrawal, or we disconnect from the entire social media, or just like caffeine, if we cut caffeine and we drink caffeine every single day for years, and then one day we decide to just switch it out of our lives, we will go through a withdrawal process. So it's deprivation. It's convincing our brains that we are not allowed this because it's so bad for us, that we have to completely discount it from our lives. Whereas what I've recognized with social media is that if we understand we need pockets of time away from all this environmental disturbance, external information coming in, we create pockets where we step away from it. So if we have a family, we would say, today at this time I'll put my phone down. If we are on our own and we use social media a lot to stay connected, why not pick up the phone and speak to a good friend for an hour instead, and feel really connected by looking into somebody's eyes and feeling the energy of that person, even though it's coming through the screen, that they're listening and you're being heard in a different way. And as you said, spending time in nature, growing your own produce, even if it's in a pot, these are the things that people have been learning or remembering through the time of lockdown, and people are staying more closely to where they live, so they are seeing their neighbours more, or their community area is more familiar to them, walking in their local parks. And this is a sort of, again, a remembering of who we are, because we are looking at nature, we are looking to nature's wisdom for advice and for healing and for health and support. So when we quiet the mind, well, actually there's no such thing as having an empty mind, and that's really always so important for me to get across to people, because we are wired to have thoughts. So our mind's processing system is to have a thought is almost like our mind is detoxing that thought. So there's no problem with having thoughts. The problem starts when we attach a thought to another thought to another thought, and then it creates a story, and we live in that story and that pattern. So to quiet the mind, which can be done with practice over time, there are many tools, and some of those things I just talked about, as you said, getting into nature, having a conversation with a friend, just doing something different, dancing, singing, painting. Even if you're no good at any of those things, it's not about good or bad, just finding things that creatively make you feel a little bit inspired and alive can be a step towards allowing the mind to rest in a way. And then when it comes to meditation, the practice of meditation for me is really just becoming aware of something. So most people will probably know the practice of mindfulness, where the difference between mindfulness and meditation is mindfulness is you are in the present moment with something. So right now I'm talking to you and these wonderful women that have gathered, and we are sharing a specific time together that is valuable. We are all here together, we're all committed, we're all listening, we're all really present, and that is a practice of mindfulness. Whereas we've become so used to multitasking, and the temptation is to do more than one thing at a time, especially if we have busy lives, that we don't really fully bring our attention to one place at one time. So one thing I would recommend is that when you make a cup of tea, make your tea and fully be there with making your tea. Watch the kettle boil and be in that moment of almost a sense of gratitude that you're having a cup of tea, because there are still so many people in the world who have not got a kettle and have not got fresh water to boil their tea, their water and make tea in the way that we do. So just in these small moments, we can really empower ourselves and quieten the mind by just bringing our attention to whatever we're doing. And then the difference between that and meditation is to sitting in the awareness of meditation, so whatever comes. So actually, when we say quieten the mind, it means to become friends with everything, and that is including your fears, your maybe more negative thought patterns, your doubts, yourself, your inner critic. It's learning how to befriend them, befriend those things, so that you understand, or one understands there's a space for both. There is a space for the things that we desire, and there's also a space for this aversion to pushing things away, to avoiding the things that make us feel a little bit more uncomfortable. Actually, when we embrace both, then we are able to sit in more balance and more peace, and that is quietening the mind.
Thank you. Thank you, Zelda. Just, before we go on to the next question and your meditation, guided meditation, I would like to ask everyone who tuned in tonight, I can see it's very close circle, so just how you feel tonight, because I know it's been probably intensive day, and it would be just wonderful. I feel tired, but I feel excited and at calm. So if someone could share how you feel, it would be really, really supporting. And what I find is that people these days, they are kind of afraid to share the emotions. And I think the minute you share your emotion, it kind of dissolves in the air. So if you're angry and acknowledging the anger, or if you're worried and acknowledging the worry, or if you're too excited, and you can say, like this morning, I was too excited because I knew we have 4 events coming up, and I was buzzing. And now it's like totally opposite. Like I'm in a totally opposite, realm. So please do share how you feel tonight. It would be wonderful to hear. And what would you say would be really kind of, practical tips, not just to finish our day, or maybe finish our days and start our day, so that we don't kind of wake up and, rush into the day and have our cup of coffee, and just put makeup really quickly and then, we end up, like, I think, being in that kind of fast-paced environment. So what would be your tips how to start and end our days?
Okay, so very, very simple. I always go back to simplicity, and many of us have work on time frames, and we have big responsibilities, whether it's work, family, and actually the simplest way to begin the day for me is to just connect back to self. So you wake up, you're still lying in bed, and you will simply just place your hands on your body and take a few breaths, just so that you really feel that your breath you can feel your breath moving through your body. And so just 3 deep, lovely, powerful breaths. Maybe you have one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart center, on the chest, and you keep your eyes closed, and you really feel the fullness of your breath moving through your body. And then I think one of the most wonderful tools and very powerful tools with practice is gratitude. So if we wake up, we recognize we're alive, we're breathing, it's a new day, then just maybe internally listing 1 or 2 things that you are grateful for. And they could be very, very simple, or they could be extraordinarily large, I'm alive, or it could be, today's a new day and I'm going to have breakfast. I'm grateful for this body. I'm grateful for my work. I am grateful for the opportunity. So all of these things, whatever they are for you in terms of gratitude, even if you feel low or extremely tired from the external events that are happening. And what I'm finding is that with all of this complex collective energy, there is a lot of personal, individual trauma that is coming up. So everyone is facing their own individual challenges and obstacles. So in that moment when you wake, it's just an opportunity just to give thanks for something. And I think that's a very powerful way to start the day. To end the day, if you're really quite energized and your mind is very active, then I would suggest something to slow down. So again, going back to the breathing, but something maybe we'll just do a little bit within the meditation so people can get an idea, to lengthen and deepen the breath so that your nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system is stimulated, which is your rest and digest. And again, you keep it either very simple. You could also say 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for from your day, or the one thing that I find is that when we end our day very, very positively, then we go into these 7 or 8 hours sleep, and our brain chemistry is influenced by that positivity. So we can listen to very gentle, positive music, meditation music. Again, we could do something that is something that we connect to, maybe singing to ourselves or humming, something very, very simple, and then knowing that you're going off to sleep, not watching the news, not scrolling through social media, because the activity of all that information is just going to stay in your memory and influence the amount of rest you have. So they would be my 2 simple suggestions to start and end the
Thank
day.
you, thank you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You can see we've got some lovely.
It's so how people feel.
Yeah.
Tired and grateful. I am tired after a very busy day, but very excited and inspired. Can't wait for meditation. I feel I need it a lot.
Right.
Stressed and eager. I have spent the day doing lots of multitasking, therefore I feel all over the place. It's good to be here and get inspired to do one thing. It sounds so simple, but can be so hard nowadays.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel extremely tired yet full, and in some ways feel complete. Entering this space with Selda and everyone, the call has also almost immediately made me feel centered and calm. Laura is saying, calm, inspired, and grateful. Meditation is in my to-do list, but I don't know how to start. So this session is such a gift.
Perfect.
Beautiful, Selda. Thank you. Just listening to you slowed me and calmed my mind a lot this evening. So I think we are in a good place to start. I just would like to share your social media links with everyone, so that people can explore your work, and if they want to connect and follow you on social media when you present there. So I've just shared your links, and I will say good night, I think, to our listeners. I know we're going to meet tomorrow with everyone, and I wish everyone good night, sweet dreams. Please relax your mind. And Selda, I will hand over to you now. So I will.
Thank you, my love. Thank you for being here with us and well, creating this beautiful gathering for us all to share. So Patricia and I discussed that I'll probably go for about half an hour, and then once I've finished, then you just really I'll end the session, and if you have the time, just stay in the space that you're in. So if you're in your room, you can lie down, just get comfortable so that you feel that you can stay there if you need to when the session has ended. And just before I begin, some of the comments that were made, I'll just refer back to them. I understand, and I resonate with so many of them. When you're tired but excited, stressed, eager, always feeling all over the place. Absolutely. So really, what I would like to do this evening is to help you very simple, so that for those of you who are very new to meditation as well, it can be something that you can take into your everyday if that works for you. There's nothing to be sort of afraid of. It's very simple practice, and really all you're asking your body to do is relax. So you are welcome to lie down for the session. You can have your video on or off, it doesn't matter, because you'll just be listening to me. There's no need for you to be watching me. And the idea is that we bring ourselves together into a center, into alignment, and we're here present. So, and what you said about gathering together, the energy of a group. So how many people have you got? Okay, 19 people. Wonderful. So when one person meditates, the energy of that person that they carry is powerful. As soon as we have a group of people gathering together with the same intention, the energy multiplies by 1 billion. So it's so strong to be in a space, albeit online, it still carries, with a group of women with the same intention of coming together. So I would like to begin by asking everybody to just create some heat between the hands. So you can do this before you lie down. Can't see everybody, so I'm just looking at the few people that are on my screen. This is just creating a little bit of the internal fire in our body, and we can just then gently separate our hands and feel maybe a little bit of vibration or tingling between the hands. Yeah, can everyone feel that? This is our electromagnetic field, or also known as energy. And I invite you to turn your hands to face the screen so that we are connecting with each other. And the energy that you're sending to everyone in the space, it's like we're gathering like a circle, like a sacred circle. This is coming from our heart. Okay, so whatever the intention is coming from our heart, down our arms, through the hands, and sending it with intention to everyone gathered here. Okay, so we're really feeling as if we're connecting with each other. We feel that each other is being supportive. So for those feeling extremely tired, you're held by those who are feeling a little bit more alert. And for those who are feeling a little bit more alert and active in the mind, you are being supported and cared for from a calm, centered space. Okay, so just really, I can feel very strong energy in my hand. This is because that's what I do, but I feel real power that is being sent through into this space with these women, with all of you women. So I hold that in a great honor. And hopefully now that we have understood we're here, we're present, we can allow the body and mind to rest. So just allow your hands to rest now and get into a comfortable position for you. That may be sitting. If you're sitting, I encourage you to sit back into the chair so that your back is rested. If you have the opportunity to lie down, then lie down, and then let's close the eyes. So we're going to close the eyes and really just soften into the space. I'll keep my video on just in case you need to open your eyes at any point, but I encourage you to really go inwards. And when we close down the eyes, we are really shutting off information. So we're allowing ourselves to listen inwards, listen internally. And we'll just begin by turning to the breath. So we close down the eyes, softening the corners of the eyes. And then just notice how you're breathing. This is just your natural breath. We're not changing or manipulating or regulating the breath in any way. We're just breathing in and breathing out. And perhaps you breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through your mouth. Perhaps you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. But however it's coming, just allow it to be in its most natural way and state. And then begin to listen to all the sounds around you. And at this time, I'm just allowing the sounds of the cicadas, the crickets outside, just to pour into my field. So you may just be able to hear the humming in the background. But whatever it is that is filling your space and the space outside, maybe the sounds of voices, maybe even cars or trains or whatever it is, depending on where you are, just allowing all those sounds to be present as a part of this experience and not seeing anything as a distraction. This is a very inclusive practice, so meditation, becoming aware of all that is not really about trying to stop things, push things away, avoid, or fix anything. So we're just breathing in and out and allowing all that is happening around us to continue. And if the mind is quite busy, there's no need to judge. Just simply accept, embrace, and give your body permission. Just have a little time to soften the edges, to become a little bit more centered. So we have to give ourselves permission to ease into these softer spaces. Okay, so let's deepen the breath a little bit. We'll begin by taking 3 lovely deep breaths. We breathe in through the nose and we sigh out from the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. And last time, breathing in. And just continue to breathe in your natural way. And maybe you notice that your shoulders and your chest lifted a little, and then when you breathed out, they soften back and down. So this is the information that we want to pass through the body to soften, to arrive, to center. So we'll just start at the top of the head and a quick skim of the body, like a body scan. Just from the top of the head all the way down to the feet. Just getting an idea of how we feel in this moment. So if we're feeling tired, whereabouts is that showing up in the body? Is it behind the eyes? Is it in the shoulders? Is it the feet or the hands? Is it the lower back? So really just investigating, researching, and really it's inner questioning. How do I feel right now? In this very moment, how do I feel? Without needing to answer it, we begin to locate these areas and these parts of our body that may need a little bit more attention. So let's say that you're feeling a little sensitive in your belly, and the mind is quite exhausted, it feels quite heavy. So what we'd do is we'd just send the intention of our breath into these spaces. So for example, the intention of our breath pouring down through the body into the belly. You really feel that the belly is expanding and relaxing as you breathe in and out. And if you have a space in the body that feels some discomfort and it's easy to access with your hands, please, you can place your hands on this part of the body. Maybe the belly or the chest or the legs. And really feel as if you're sending this breath, this life force down into these spaces, oxygenating these very parts of us that may need just a little bit more self-care right now. And just continue to breathe. Keep it simple, keep it natural. And notice perhaps after a few rounds of this intentional breathing down into these spaces, how the body structure begins to ease. There is a softening to the edges of our outer scaffolding, and by way of acceptance or embracing all that we are in this moment, we begin to connect the body, the mind, and the spirit together. So throughout the meditation there will be just a few breaths of silence, and notice how it feels to be in silence. The more we practice, the more we lean into these moments of silence as a pause or a mini holiday, for a break from everything that has become too much. And we lean into them as a support or as a container of love and care, kindness and compassion. So take another deep breath in. If you wish to breathe it out from the mouth, you'd be my guest. And then take your attention to the top of your head. Your awareness at the top of the head. And we'll begin by inviting our body parts to slowly relax. So the top of the head, the crown of the head, just imagine that it's resting. If you're lying down, it'll be resting back. If you're seated, almost a spreading out of the top of the head. And just get a sense of the space around the top of the head. Become aware of the volume of space around the top of the head. And then move over towards the forehead, as if you're smoothing out all the lines across the forehead. So any tension is beginning to melt as the forehead begins to rest. And allow that smoothing out sensation to cross over the eyelids and the temples, over the eyebrows, the corners of the eyes, and over the nose, through and across the cheekbones, above the upper lip, across the mouth, and into the chin area and the jawline. So all parts of the face, all the facial muscles and features are beginning to relax. We're breathing in and breathing out. And then we're moving through the head. So all the parts between the front of the head and the back of the head are also beginning to relax. And with each breath in and each breath out, we're feeling a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more relaxed. And in this creating space, there's a little bit more peace. So then we move down into the neck, the throat, the back of the head, the neck, the throat, the ears, not missing out any part, just offering up this time and this space to relax. Relaxing the throat, no need to talk, giving it a rest. And then into the back of the shoulders, the upper back, if you're lying down, the body is starting to drop down a little deeper. And if you're resting against the back of a chair, the back is beginning to press back and down. The muscles across the top of your chest spreading. Imagine they're spreading out. There's an expansion of this part of the body as you breathe in. It lifts. As you breathe out, it settles. And then this energy of the breath moves down the arms from the shoulders, tops of the arms, the top of the left arm, all the way into the left elbow crease, down into the forearm and into the hand. From the right shoulder all the way down into the elbow crease, forearm, and into the right palm. And you may even become aware of the tingling sensation in the fingertips right now, as you just continue to send this subtle yet powerful anchor of your breath through the body. And in those moments in between, the stillness, the pause, just let the breath take over. So all the parts and pieces inside the torso, from the physical heart to the lungs, to the kidneys, the liver, to the spleen, stomach, intestines, they're all beginning to relax. And as they settle, the body begins to very gently let go. As if the body is being held or carried. And there's nothing to grip onto, nothing to be in control of. And this flowing movement, this fluidity, passes down into the belly. Its softness is so inviting and refreshing as it moves up and down. And then as we move into the lower half of the body, if we're sitting, we can feel the base of our body grounding into the chair. If we are lying, we feel the whole of the back of the body pressing down. And with the exhalation comes a deepening. A deepening into this very moment as you are. Let the labels of how you feel just fall away, so that all that remains is your awareness of the body and the breath. As the lower back begins to really drop down and make space, the pelvis, the hips, the buttocks and the tops of the legs become heavy. And even though there is a weight about this heaviness, the breath and the awareness and the light of this awareness brings a weightlessness to your entire being. So all the way through to the legs, the knees, the left knee, the right knee, the backs of the knees, the lower half of the legs, into the ankle bones, into the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, and all the toes on the left foot and the right foot are relaxed. And now the body, as this container, as this vessel, is more relaxed and rested. The breath has deepened. And as it expands outwards, we begin to get a sense that the body feels a little bit bigger than it actually is. As if there is a moment where we cannot feel where the body and the atmosphere around the body begins and ends. And we breathe in and breathe out throughout the body, into the space around, above the head, in front of the body, the back of the body, and beneath the body, to really widen our awareness beyond just ourselves. Continuing just to breathe in and breathe out in this way. Whatever it is that you are facing in your life, whatever challenges or obstacles, just allowing this ease of breath and this sensitivity to ourselves, towards ourselves, to really be the only thing that exists right now. Perhaps you'll really begin to feel the body pressing down, even the sense that the organs internally are dropping even deeper. And if the mind wanders, then so be it. Gently encourage it back to the center of your chest, the energetic heart center, so that you can feel your breath moving up and down. You can feel the beating of your heart inside your body. And then the mind wanders again, and you gently encourage it back. Over and over. A gentle practice of kindness and compassion. And just in this space, this emptiness of the vast and open heart space, we settle into this choice of living in love or in fear. And when we are deeply relaxed and fully present, we can only exist in the space of love. So really feeling as if the center of your chest is expanding. Perhaps imagining a glowing green light at the center of your chest. And this emerald green light is widening and radiating from the center of your body, shining brightly outwards, upwards, down, behind you. And its brilliance of light, its luminosity, is one of balance, health, and wholeness. And as the green light widens and grows, your entire body is enveloped in this warmth of light. Your entire body is protected and supported with your own inner radiance. And notice how you feel, knowing that you can lean into this wisdom of energy, light source at any time you need to protect you and support you, to fill your space with this ever expanding love from within. And then just let everything fall away, everything dissolve, everything melt, and just return back to the simple breath as you inhale and exhale naturally. With a feeling of gratitude for this opportunity to gather together. Just allowing that feeling to just pass through you, just to wash over your entire body. And just for a moment, we'll just sit in silence or lay in silence, just allow the body to absorb and integrate all that we have shared so far. And after a moment, I will just bring in a few gentle crystalline vibrations in the background before ending the session. So please keep your eyes closed, continue to relax and enjoy. Breathing out. Inhaling. Exhaling. Breathe in love. And breathe out love. Good night and God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this space.